집 2층으로 올라가야 되는 거죠, 이거?
You know, I envy you, Sherry. You can talk to other people and they won't ignore you.
And I envy you. You can ignore any person you're bored with. You don't miss out on much. Most men are dull, unlike yourself.
Well, I'm flattered.
요 거울이구만. 이거 맞지 않아? 아, 응. 응? 그래도 아무것도 없는데? 아이고.
I had a surprise for my mother. I was holding an ancient Greek vase, or rather, quite a big piece of it. You had a shovel with you, John. I remember now. We dug up the vase from Greek ruins here on Cordona and were eager to show my mother right away.
근데 자기 기억에는 이렇게 들고 있다고 해도 실제로는 돈은 지금 상상 속의 친구니까 실제로는 삽을 여기 화병에다가 꽂아가지고 들고 왔을까? 그런 소소한 궁금증이 생기네요.
For some reason, the door was closed. We knocked.
But nobody answered. We thought that she was busy.
So we left the vase and ran downstairs. I decided to gather some archaeological tools in order to take a closer look at the vase.
But then we heard something, didn't we?
깨지는 소리?
Yes. It came from upstairs.
The vase was broken, shards scattered all over the floor. And your mother was standing at the door.
Indeed, John. I doubt it was her. Let me concentrate. Otto Richter was standing there, furious at us. Dr. Richter told us never to disturb my mother when the door is closed. He said she had broken the vase.
But we didn't believe him. I bet he smashed it.
도전 과제를 달성함. 어머니의 품. 바이올렛의 방을 여십시오. 아, 이렇게 기억을 하나하나 되찾을 때마다 이렇게 가려져 있던 문이 지나갈 수 있게 되나 보다. 이런 데도 그렇고. 뭔가 약간 하나씩 해제되는 느낌?
Her things are still here.
Presumably Mycroft never felt the need to sort through it all.
Or couldn't bring himself to.
No. He would have put it behind him and moved on. My brother is not one for sentimentality. This room always reeked with an acrid medicinal stench. And here is the reason.
남편, 시거 홈즈 씨가 사망했다. 겨우 41세의 나이로 심장질환을 일으켰다. 홈즈 씨는 아내 바이올렛과 두 아들을 두고 세상을 떠났다.
It's a strange feeling to read about my father's death in the newspaper. I can't recall anything except the deep feeling of loss.
You were too young. It happened before we even met. It's so sad. I'm sorry.
오토 릭터 박사의 진찰 기록. 처음 몇 장은 분명하고 정확했으나 뒤이어 그린 그림들은 현실에서 빠르게 멀어졌다. 병이 급속히 진전되고 시력에도 영향을 주는 것 같다. 뭔 병이지?
Do you think the doctor could have used these tools here? I hope not.
No labels. I doubt it ever had one. There appear to be residues of the bottle's contents at the bottom.
첫 상담에서 수면 장애와 불안증, 기억이 혼란스러워진다. 진정제를 처방한. 진정제는 불안 발작은 최소화했지만 긴장증, 무감각, 우울한 상태가 지속된다. 남편에게 편지를 쓰기 시작하고. 망상적인 믿음이 부정당할 때 짜증을 내며 공격적인 행동. 환자의 가족과 환자 본인에게도 폭력적인 성향을 보인다. 좋지 않은데?
This picture was drawn by my mother. I recognize her hand. There's a date on it,
이렇게 잘
8th
그려?
of December 1868. This seems a bit odd. I can recognize my mother's style, but it's far too sloppy. Dated 12th of February 1869.
헐.
It's difficult to tell what this is meant to represent. There's no date at all. Straps on the bed. Just doesn't look right.
겨우 저걸로 결박이 된다고?
Oh, I would love to take a bath right now.
Not this one. Surface corrosion suggests it was prone to extreme temperature fluctuations. For medical purposes, I suppose. Seems this was the most frequently used medication.
뭔 효과가 있는 약일까 이게?
One dram dissolved in a glass of water, administered daily. Not to exceed one dose in 24 hours, not to be given to children.
남편 죽고 그 보냈다는 편지 같네. (69년 2월) 아빠 언제 죽었다 그랬지? 아, 65년? 이미 죽은 지 한 4년 지났네.
My mother loved flowers. They made her smile. I remember we would bring a new bouquet every week to make her a bit happier.
That's why we collected all the violet flowers we could find on the island. Look what I found! The White King is under attack. Sherry, can you save him and checkmate the opponent in one move?
흰수만 줘, 체크메이트. 다른 방법 없어? 아이고, 내 숟가락. 아이고. 디쇼코 해도 먹히면은 지는 거 아닌가? 일단은 랩터 보도록 하고요. 아, 그림.
Looks like it was damaged by a blunt object. Oh, it brings back some memories.
이제 조금 복잡한데? 버섯에서 유래된 환각대 성분이 나왔다. 진놈 아니야 이거? 아이, 젓가락 자꾸 떨어져.
Mother was troubled that morning. Something we did upset her. Dr. Richter tried to calm her down. We had to put the tray with Mother's morning tea down, but why? The broken plate shards were all over the floor. Mycroft had to change his suit as the one he was wearing was completely stained. It's starting to ring a bell. I think it happened in the morning.
뭔가를 막아야 됐겠지? 직접 내다 버린 게 아니라. 뭐지? 뭘 보여주니까 엄마가 막 난동을 피웠다 이건가? 이거 같아. 애들이 한가롭게 차를 마실 때는 아니었겠죠? 아이,
I don't believe you! Liars! Get away from me! It's not true! It's not real!
What?
Ah,
Everything will be okay, Sherry. I promise.
It was the morning of the 9th of April, the day my mother died.
4월 9일은 시작부터 좋지 않았다. 어머니는 히스테리 상태가 되었다. 큰 소리가 나기 시작하자 나는 무서워졌다. 고맙게도 종이 나를 진정시켜줬다.
My mother, she was not just ill, but
그냥 정신병이어서 그 당시에는 소문나면은 조금 그러니까
God have
해결핵으로
mercy.
위장을
I'm
했나
sorry.
보네.
that explains why you locked the memory away.
There must be more, John. That was the morning of her death. I need to know what happened. John,
Every time you... I just don't... Please, Sherry, leave it be.
just breathe,
아,
John.
제가 깜빡깜빡거리는 게
You
렉
know
걸린
that
게
I
아니고
cannot leave the
진짜로
lost stone unturned. We are so
게임
close.
내에서 제가 이제 존재가 위험하다는 그런 표시였구나.
I know. But can we at least leave it for another day?
네, 뭐
Well, history tells us these memories are triggered by our investigation of other
억지로
matters. I suspect it could not
성급하게
be
할
forced
필요는
even
없지.
if I so desired.
Thank you. How are you feeling about all this? Tell me, I'm not the only one reeling.
In the end, little has changed. My mother was still unwell, just not with tuberculosis. What I do not yet understand is why Mycroft lied about it. There are precious few pieces of this puzzle remaining, John. Let us dawdle here no longer.
Indeed. Wait, did you hear that?
Yes, metallic soles. What is this sailor doing here?
Sherlock
뭐야
Holmes,
어떻게
isn't it?
들어왔었어요?
I was looking for you.
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
You can call me your new game. The rules are simple. I have something for you, but you alone must work out what that is.
And that something is my prize, I suppose?
You're a fast learner, sir.
이거 뭐야? 옷은 낡았는데 손은 깨끗하다. 이쪽 같은데? 맞아, 저번에 묘지 가서 만났던 그 보겔.
I cannot believe that Mr. Vogel has somehow successfully called my attention to his gallery. You're here with an invitation to visit it, obviously.
My word, you are fast, Mr. Holmes. Could you explain how you came to that conclusion?
Of course. Explanations are my favorite part of any conversation. Hands without any sign of regular physical activity, in contradiction to one who would most usually wear such a uniform. The paint in your hair is pink. I don't know of any military service that paints their ships pink, unless they have launched a new fashionable fleet. A sailor with the soul of an artist? I would suggest rather a gallery employee disguised as a sailor to mislead me. How many artists on the island know where I live and of my passion for deduction? Werner Vogel is clearly at the top of the list. And you've been attempting to conceal something square-shaped within your pocket. An invitation, I suppose. An invitation to Mr. Vogel's gallery.
That was remarkable, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Vogel was right about your genius. I think he may have even underestimated you. This is your invitation. Please tell Mr. Vogel that the seed has been planted. He asked me to tell you to do so, if you win this little game. Farewell.
화랑은 올드시티 바자가와 헤르메스 대로의 교차로에 있는 카라반세라이에 있어요. 아, 이런 식으로 지금 내 이야기 여기에 추가되는 게 이제 계속 메인 퀘스트 따라가는 거고, 기억의 궁전 여기에 이제 이게 바뀔 때마다 여기가 바뀌는 거구나. 그러니까 올드시티에서 바자랑 헤르메스 여기구나. 아, 카라반세라이. 아, 여기 있다고. 여기 동전도 찾아야 되는데. 근데 요 근처에 이제 카페에서 커피 사가지고 뭐 어쩌고저쩌고 했었는데, 아침에 따라가 봐야 될까나? 여긴가? 오호.
Mr. Holmes, you came. Oh, how kind. Though now, of course, I realize it is because of my game, not the works on display.
It needn't be one or the other. Your man's disguise was easily debunked, Mr. Vogel, but I shall admit that you planted in me the seed of curiosity.
Ah, terrific! I had no doubt you'd put the pieces together. Let us call it an opening gambit before the real game begins.
So, this little game of yours, what's it about?
An enigma to solve. A locked area in the basement with no windows found brutally vandalized. I have no clue how it was possible.
And this locked area downstairs, what exactly was it?
The under gallery. It's always shut, and I'm the only one with the key.
Ah, so this is your private collection, not part of the gallery.
Oh, no! It's an exclusive exhibition of eccentric pieces. Only a select cadre of artists, investors, and collectors are admitted. Not everyone deserves to have their eyes open.
What about this intrusion? What happened?
Last night, I was about to leave the gallery when I heard a noise downstairs. I went to the basement, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was admittedly a rudimentary inspection. It is not uncommon to get rats down there, so seeing nothing of note, I left and locked up the building. When I returned this morning, alas, I discovered that part of the exhibition had been torched, and there was no sign of the intruder. The mystery being, of course, that all the doors to the gallery were locked exactly as I left them.
And the door to the basement is the only entrance?
Correct. Tell me you're not intrigued.
Well, this matter is certainly within my wheelhouse.
This intrusion troubles me. Please take a look around if you're willing. The under gallery is through the door at the end.
I will see what I see.
와, 이거는 아는 그림이야.
You sure you don't like art, Sherry?
실제 그림들인가 이게 다? 여기구만.
Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
상어? 아우.
Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
와우.
Old, and hasn't been used for a long time. The left step's length is shorter than the right. It indicates that the walker was lame. Closed with a metal bolt. Footprints. Size 9.5.
여기 들어가서 숨어 있었다고? 아니, 아, 위에 굴뚝으로 내려왔다는 거구나. 굴뚝으로 내려와서 태우고 다시 쏙 사라진 거잖아, 그러면. 와우.
Sherry, how about some company in that dreary chamber of yours?
Leave my loneliness unbroken, John.
여기도 숨어 있었다고?
A handprint of the thing from another world. But it looks fresh, and its coal origin ruins the effect of the extra mundane. Sodden and mold-ridden. One presumes deliberately. The parasites of creativity. Or just a reflection of the artist's recreational interests. Saturn devouring his sun. Oh, grim composition.
Unflinching in its ferocity, yet somehow beautiful.
A Malpalbot. Coal fingerprints. I think we're looking for a man with a coal moustache. Ugh, sheer vandalism. Only an ignorant person could do such a thing.
조사할 건 다 했나? 아, 이제 무슨 일이 벌어졌는지 이걸 해야 되구나. 여기는 뭐 고개를 그냥 대충 쓱 둘러보고 가지 않았을까? 이거는 저 굴뚝으로 타고 들어온 범인 여기서 안에서 나왔을 것이고, 그치? 아유, 할 게 많아.
The intruder
그치.
entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the hatch bolt. He accidentally pushed a shovel to the floor.
아, 그래서 이
Vogel
소리를
heard the noise.
듣고서
At the sound of his approaching footsteps,
Ah.
the intruder hid inside the coffin.
저 숨은
When
거구나.
Vogel entered the basement, he failed to notice anything strange and left without properly checking. The intruder waited until Vogel had left the caravanserai before burning the paintings in Wilde's room. But the vandalism was a cover for the theft.
아, 그럼 올라가서 다시 말을 걸어봐야겠네. 아, 이쪽이지.
The pieces are not what I expected.
What do you think my collection is about?
아, 엄마. 밥은 따로 먹을게요. 약간 곰팡이 피고 막 이런 거 보니까 부패?
Extravagant paintings have been left to rot in a basement. A commentary on decay and the crumbling of society, correct?
I don't know.
Well, that's absurd. Of course you know. It's your gallery.
There is no one answer, no singular truth, but many filtered through the subjective mind. That forgetting, embellishing, lying machine. Besides, what's wrong with a lie if it makes life more interesting?
What's wrong with a lie? It corrupts the ability of others to behave freely and rationally.
Men never act freely and rationally anyway. It matters not what is or isn't in the end. The only important thing is how you feel. And I simply want to feel and consume as much as I can. Don't you?
Feelings are simply one's animal ancestry trying to wrest back control of the brain. I try to avoid the distraction.
You try not to feel, even in a place like this? None of it moves you?
To be frank, I struggle to maintain even a whit of interest in art.
But Mr. Holmes, it is joy incarnate, mankind's greatest achievement.
Mankind's highest achievement above all others is objective and rational thought.
I see then why you dislike art, for it means whatever you want it to.
Or perhaps, Mr. Vogel, I was lying.
Uh-huh.
그러게. 그냥 저 통로를 타고 왔다기엔 너무 시시한 사건이네.
Mr. Vogel, I have confirmed that the intruder was an average-sized, flexible Malpal smoker with a limp. As it happens, the vandalism was a cover. The true intent was to steal a painting without your knowledge. The fact is, one of the pieces from the Wild Room is not in the wreckage.
What? That is extraordinary.
This thief was familiar with the gallery and he was sporting a limp. Do any of your clients or artists come to mind?
My, your attention to detail is remarkable, Mr. Holmes. I should introduce you to Bosch's works. Alas, I'm afraid I cannot suggest a culprit.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the latch and dislodged the shovel while doing so. That's the noise you heard yesterday. When you went downstairs to investigate, he hid in the coffin.
It seems I should have checked the space more thoroughly.
The fire was a clever attempt to hide a stolen painting, even if it didn't fool me. I found the remnants of an empty frame in the pile of ashes. The canvas had been removed. Do you know which paintings in the Wild Room may have interested a thief? Were any particularly expensive?
Those pieces belong to a well-known artist named Boniface Mercurio. They're controversial, but not of a notably high value.
There's something more, is there not? I can see it in your eyes.
Indeed. There is another intriguing angle. I recently received an anonymous offer for one of Mercurio's works. The sum was more than fair, and indeed could have saved Mercurio from his artistic poverty. But he declined it.
Was it a performative whim? Some artists lionize pain and hardship as if their work would be worse after a meal and a hot bath.
I cannot tell. But not only did he refuse the deal, he insisted on displaying the
팔지는
painting in the
않아도
public space. I was
유명하게는
hoping to change his mind,
인사겠다
but
이건가?
artists are a special breed of stubborn.
더 비싸게 팔려고?
What was depicted in the piece?
A bound woman, wrapped in robes, being penetrated by a red devil that stared at us, the viewer. The beast had numerous tails growing from his back, and a large crowd gathered around the pair, silently watching the orgiastic scene.
Okay, well, given the nature of the other works on display, it's hard to see why that one stood out. What could possibly be its value?
The evaluation of art is
그건
very
맞지.
subjective, Mr. Holmes. After all, art is everything. A poem, a bruise, the beads of sweat on your beloved skin. Even a masterfully solved crime.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Regardless, the painting was one of a series called The Sabbath Night in Cordona. The works depict sex, violence, and other controversial acts that life, for better or worse, contains.
Ah, I see.
I'm not sure that you do, but that can wait for another time.
So where can I find Boniface Mercurio?
I know he lives somewhere in Old City, but couldn't be more specific. He's a prominent figure, so finding him shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I believe I have enough to begin. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Your gallery certainly has unexpected depths.
I'm delighted to have been able to please a friend. In return, I expect you to come back with good news. Or at least with a good story.
기록 보관소를 봐야 되는 거면 내가 아까 어디로 들어왔더라? 여기까지 온 김에 동전 찾기 잠깐 제시도? 그때 이 길이 아닌데 여기였나? 반대편에 이 자식 여기가 카페 맞는 것 같은데 일단은 여기서 집중 표시가 떴네. 고사리를 한다고?
Could you help me?
You and I are the economic foundation of this island. We should help each other. But I don't know what you are talking about.
여기랑 여기 사이에 바자가면 요 짧은 구간인데 여기 안에서 커피를 팔만한 데는 지금 밑집밖에 안 보이는데. 한번 다시 밝을 때 한번 살펴보는 걸로. 얘는 또 왜 발로 막 쫓아고 있어? 그래, 저기 하나밖에 없어. 일단은 저 커피 가게에서 시작을 하고 여기 근처에 높은 탑이 내려다 보이는 길 이쪽인가? 근데 이쪽은 뭐 탑이랄 게 없는데? 아이 참 어렵다. 아 소리. 그나마 높은 거라고 보이는 게 저거. 저거 다 모스크 기둥 아닌가? 맞는데 모스크 기둥. 여기서 뭐 더 가다 보면은 나무 문으로 막혀 있다. 조금 더 가는 정도가 아니잖아. 오늘도 포기다. 그래서 메인캐나 하러 갑시다. 시청에 가면은 뭔가 기록을 찾을 수 있겠죠? 아이용. 예상 사업체 기타 일단은 시민 구역은 올드시티. 사업체? 아이. 법률 문서. 구역은 올드시티. 영국인? 뭐지? 눈에 띄는 사람이다. 이 뭐지? 이 자식 겁나 뭐라고 하네. 뭘로 찾아야 되지? 여기서 찾을 게 아닌가? 여기가 아닌가? 경찰서에서 찾아야 될 리는 없는데. 주소를 알아내려면 시청에서 알아내야 되는 게 맞지 않나? 아닌가? 사람이 아니구나. 아닌가? 외국에서 온 뮤즈니까 화가는 영국 사람인데 그림 그린 대상이 다른 나라 사람이거든. 아씨, 들어가서 검색을 해야 되지. 신문사도 가보지.
Mr. Holmes, I have something for you. Mr. Holmes, I see what you're up to. Mysterious stranger pursues
What?
betrothed woman. But please, let us keep things professional. I have in my possession an envelope containing details of a special assignment for you. Tell me, are you interested?
I
뭐
believe I
일단
am,
주는 건 다
but to be
받아야지.
very clear, Miss Ertle, my interest extends to the message and not the messenger.
So he claims he's not a gal sneaker, seducing women everywhere he goes. Perhaps the truth is even more scandalous?
Please spare me the speculation. Return to the matter at hand.
A gang of smugglers, the Eels, have Codona in their clammy grip. The British Empire can abide it no longer. Mycroft insists they be disbanded. But this organization only falls with the capture of their odious leader, Friedrich Panzer. And Note 12.
또 전투해야
I
되나
did say
본데.
capture, not kill. Inside your envelope is a map marked with the Eels' warehouses. But alas, we do not know in which Friedrich Panzer resides.
So even Mycroft has his limits.
Indeed. You must be sure to identify the correct warehouse before entering. Because once one is compromised, the other's occupants will scatter. Here are all the files, and feel free to use the archive too. Again, do not enter the wrong location, nor see any harm done to Friedrich Panzer.
Miss Ertle, if you're quite done with the redundant instructions, I shall get to work.
Well, that's perfect. Tortured hero lashes out after rejected romance. Tomorrow's edition will be a sensation.
유명 인사. 본문. 인터뷰 정도? 아, 여기서 찾는 거였구나. 이럴 수가. 그림 판매 전시회에서 새로운 주문이 있었다. 페페화가 보니파스 메르쿠리오에게 의자를 던지면서 분위기를 깨버렸다. 나중에 밝히기를 메르쿠리오 씨가 자신의 이름을 욕보였기 때문에 벌인 일이라고 했다. 아, 부인이 얘랑 같이 커피숍에 있던 게 발견됐다고. 이후 커트 갤러거가 친구인 메르쿠리오를 보호하기 위해 터빅 씨의 머리를 그림으로 내려쳤다. 큰 싸움이 벌어지고 경찰이 오고 상류층 싸움꾼들은 모두 체포되었다. 판매 전시회에서 기념품을 구입하시라고? 전시회는 막을 내렸으나 본인이 자신의 그림을 구매할 수 있도록 집으로 초청했다. 아하, 올드시티 스칼렛가와 올리브가의 사이 헤르메스 대로에서 만날 수 있다. 드디어 찾았다. 아우, 힘들었다. 팔렛. 올리브가 사이에 헤르메스대로 요쪽이네. 여기 찍어놓고 일로 텔 타서 이쯤인데. 아, 저게 집 대문인가? 여긴가 보다.
Excuse me, young man. Where do you think you're going?
Greetings, ma'am. I'm looking for the.
I don't care who you're looking for. You shall not pass. No visitors allowed.
I wish to buy a painting from Mr. Boniface Mercurio. Is he at home?
Dearie, tell me, because old age has made me blind. Did someone write Information Bureau on my forehead? Because I'm not here to answer your questions. Entry is for residents only. If you aren't a resident, please leave, or I shall report you to the police.
뭔가 복장을 제대로 갖춰 입고 오라 이거구만. 아이고, 그렇지. 아니. 봅시다. 보헤미안 예술가만큼 그을리거나 단정하지 않은 것 같아요. 뭔가 예술가스러운 모습이 있구나. 옷을 빌리러 가볼까나?
Don't miss out. Let's pick something that suits you. 나 좀 내버려둬, 엄마. 보헤미안답게 머리도 한번 이렇게 좀
예술가의 태닝 파우더. 허허.
Be careful with what you've taken.
예. 이것도 노동자들한테 굉장히 호감이네. 경찰하고 귀족들한테 비호감 있지만. 뛰어가도 되겠다.
Don't pass by. Welcome, welcome.
일로 못 지나가나? 못 지나가잖아. 그냥 일로 가면 되는군. 아, 여기서 일로 가야 되겠다. 아, 결국은 온통 돌아서 가네. 이쪽 맞나? 맞네. 근데 어디였지? 아, 여기.
Boniface, sweetie. Is that you? Ah, old age does terrible things to one's sight. I didn't recognize you at first.
How are you, Mum? I'm ashamed to admit that I've lost my key. Do you have a spare?
For heaven's sake, how many times will you lose that key of yours? Of course I have a spare. You artists all live in your own little world.
Please, accept my thanks.
I would rather accept your rent. You promised to pay me several weeks ago and I'm still waiting.
I will pay you, I promise, very soon.
You'd better do, my dear. Or else I'll just change the lock. And I
눈이
won't
안
fall
좋은 걸
for those
이용해서
cow
오니파스로
eyes.
변장을 한 거구나. (2호) 오, 뭐야. 죽은 거 아니지? 젠장.
Judging by post-mortem rigidity, the body lay here for 1 or 2 days.
뭐야, 이거는 왜 아무것도 안 나와? 참네.
Soaked in blood. It seems as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags. The wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife.
또 어딜 봐야 할고.
A normal kitchen knife. Could be the murder weapon. The blood has dried.
I've heard of this style of painting. It is called expressionism.
사진기?
I wonder where he got that fancy camera. Despite the overall tendency towards mess, you cannot sit with the drawer pulled out like this. Someone left it after searching. It appears the wine was truly awful. Aunt May whiskey, brandy bucks. Quite a collection he had here. The chest has been searched.
침대가 왜 이렇게 조그매?
Red skin, tails on the back. Reminds me of Verda's description of the stolen painting.
도둑맞은 그림.
Red skin, tails on the back. Reminds me of Verda's description of the stolen painting.
조금 뭐 없나? 없네. 여기는 암실로 만들어놨었나 보네.
The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material. Look at this, John. Isn't it our stolen demon?
옷마다 이렇게 동작이 바뀌는 건가? 사제 옷 입었을 때는 막 무릎 꿇고 조심스럽게 앉더니 보헤미안 옷 입으니까 아예 누워버리네. 얘가 사진 저걸 하고 있을 동안에 뭔가 왔지. 누가 이걸 뒤지니까 급하게 따라 나왔는데 이랬으면 이게 맞지? 아마도. 자살? 장난해?
You're not even trying,
아니야?
Sherry. Concentrate.
아, 병은 이건 맞을지도 모르겠다.
Mercurio was developing photographs when the intruder snuck in. Mercurio heard him coming. While the thief was searching the chest, the painter ran towards him with a bottle in his hand. He smashed it across the thief's head. The intruder had no choice but to defend himself, and the weapon of opportunity happened to be a kitchen knife. Mercurio stepped aside to grab the painting, but the wine-blinded thief attacked Mercurio's throat. When the thief came to his senses, he saw Mercurio bleeding on the floor. He grabbed the rags and tried to bandage him, but it was too late. Why did Mercurio attempt to snatch the painting in the middle of a fight? To strike the intruder? Not with his painting, it was too important to him. The photograph was not pulled out in... Look at this, John. Isn't it our stolen demon?
뭔가 조사를 더 해야 하는 것 같은데? 아, 그림에 대해서
It's time for some chemical magic, John.
오케이. 음... 아, 보자. 일단 5가 되려면 이거 두 개는 무조건 써야 되는 거 같고. 아, 이렇게 쓸 수도 있는데 얘를 뒤집어서 쓸 수도 있겠구나. 만약에 얘를 뒤집어서 쓰면 방을 그린 정물하다.
That doesn't look like the painting we need, Sherry.
As expected, but that doesn't mean it won't tell us anything. Let's put it on the easel where it belongs. I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John?
다른 그림 찾기? 여기가 없어졌는데?
If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
의자? 아니네.
Nothing behind it.
아, 집중. 왜 얘만 색깔이 컬러야?
If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
아하.
Monster was actually a man. Poor girl. John, you ought to be thrilled. We are now hunting the devil himself.
What were you saying, Sherry? I was too busy sketching the scene, you know, crimes and such like, daily routine. Did you find something?
A photograph. It depicts a man in a red suit with tails sprouting from his back and multiple people in masks watching the scene. It all adds up. But the act of love, it wasn't given willingly, John. It was a violation. And the girl, she was with child.
Give that to me now. Did you recognize someone?
No. Although the victim is not from Cordona, she is African. Look at the ritual scars on her face.
Get that image out of your brain. You have to continue the investigation.
I must speak to the landlady. Perhaps she saw or heard something.
Sherry, you cannot tell her the truth about Mercurio. It will hurt her.
John, that's illogical. Sooner or later, she will come here and discover a corpse, and I still need to talk to her.
Just avoid mentioning corpse, all right? Stick to the character, tell her to call the police.
I'll take that into account.
And wait here. I've redrawn the people in the photograph. Now you can proceed with your investigation without those horrific details.
헐. 지금 이 사진이 아닌가? 이거 아니고 그 그림 내용이 그렇다는 거야?
Red skin, tails on the back, reminds me of Verda's description of the stolen painting.
집에서 잠깐만, 이 현상 중이던 사진이 그거였다고?
The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material.
아닌데, 그냥 멀쩡한 여자 2명 사진인데. 지금 성폭행 사건이 일어나고 있어서 그거를 그림으로 표현한 게 이거라는 얘기인가? 배가 나온 게 그 임신한 여자라서 이 쓰레기 같은 새끼. 두개골 뒤쪽에 사진을 숨겨두었다. 그 사진 새긴 소녀가 악마로 분장한 남자에게 성폭행 당하고 있는 장면을 사진으로 찍었고, 그거를 그림으로 표현한 게 이거고, 뒤에서 군중들이 서 있었다는 거는 다 보고 있었다는 얘기네.
What's wrong, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Can you tell me if anyone else has recently entered the flat?
Oh, you're talking about that limping man. I'm sorry I let him in. I was scared. And I thought maybe he would motivate you to find money so that you would pay your rent. No offense, dear.
Can you describe him?
Oh, so you weren't at home. I was so certain you didn't leave your flat that day. He was of average height, had a limp, and a tattoo on his neck, and he was smoking Malpal cigarettes. My husband used to smoke those. They have a horrible smell I can recognize from a mile away.
Can I ask a favor?
Of course, dearie.
Please call the police and ask them to enter the flat, and don't look inside until they come up.
What? What trouble have you stepped in this time?
It really doesn't matter. Thank you, Mum.
도전 과제를 달성함. 완벽한 신사. 집주인의 마음을 생각하십시오. 그냥 살아있는 척 연기해주면은 도전 과제 깨지나 봐요. 외국에서 온 뮤즈라는 게 아씨 아까 그 유색인종 소녀 말하는 것 같은데 젠장. 여기서 찾은 간판은 다 찾았고 그럼 다시 화랑으로 가서
Phew, Sherry, that was close. But you did everything correctly. Now, take off your outfit. I can't let you walk around in a dead man's clothes.
자동으로 옷이 갈아입혀지나? 그러네. 기본 옷으로 돌아가네. 게임 캐릭터는 아무리 달려도 숨이 안 차서 좋아. 오길 너 이 새끼 이거 무슨 사진이고 무슨 그림인지 빨리 해명해, 이 자식아.
I think I'll leave the exhibition in its current state for a while. I'll call it The Art of Vandalism.
어디 가서 물어봐야 돼 이거? 사람들한테 물어봐야 되는 건데. 설마 다시 그 할머니, 집주인 할머니한테 다시 물어봐야 되는 건 아니겠지?
Poor chap.
You're acting so strange today, dear. I hope someday you'll let me inside that head of yours.
이거 어디 가서 물어보지? 가서 물어봐야 돼. 다른
Can
사람들한테.
you satisfy my curiosity?
We cry for help, you do nothing. So when you ask for help, why should we speak?
일단은 어디서 가서 진행을 해야 되지? 데려가봤자 여기 사람한테 물어볼 거는 없을 텐데. 여기도 다 이미 찾아봤고. 경찰서로 가봐야 하려나?
I think I'll leave the exhibition in its current state for a while. I'll call it The Art of Vandalism.
허름하게 입고 지나가는 사람들한테 물어봐야 되나? 일단 좀 구려 보이는 옷을 한번 입고.
Don't miss out on the
Let's pick
best
something that
carpets on the
suits you.
island.
Be careful with what you've taken.
May I ask for your assistance?
What a coincidence.
어,
I only learned of this recently myself.
여자의 얼굴에 있는 흉터는 애외 부족의 것으로 보인다. 스칼라디오와 실버튼 사이 빅토리아 다리 아래에 있는 난민 캠프. 요 근처?
May I ask you something?
I cannot, sorry.
Beasts!
이 녀석이 뭔가 일이 일어나긴 했나 본데. 경찰 옷 입고 지나가야 되니 설마?
Murderers!
They're completely livid. First they come to our land, then they murder our people.
Drop them all into the sea!
Beasts!
Are you able to help me? The law can't help you with that.
안녕하십니까?
Sir, this place is off limits to the public. Please state your business or leave, or I shall request that the police escort you out.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a witness for a case.
A private investigator? Really? Even so, you're not authorized. I can't let you in.
And you are?
I'm Ronald Harlow, here to handle the refugee situation on behalf of City Hall. I'm the acting supervisor here, so I have full authority here to ask you to leave, or I shall order the police to detain you for trying to pass the blockade. Please.
또 옷 갈아입어야 되나? 그러게 뭘 얼마나 껴입은 거야 이거.
The people in the crowd are shouting about a murder in the camp. Are you trying to hide it?
It's mere assumption. I assure you that the situation is under the police's control.
If it was under control, if there was no dead body, you wouldn't be as nervous as you are. You would be sitting in your cozy dark corner of the City Hall room doing nothing as usual. Yet, you're here, trying to deal with a series of problems you never asked for.
These insults are inappropriate. You don't know what I'm doing for this camp. Even though the rest of City Hall doesn't give a bloody squat about the refugees. Maybe I didn't want to be assigned to this camp. But I'm trying to do my best for these people. If not for my work, they might not have any shelter or food even.
I apologize, Mr. Harlow. Perhaps I was prejudiced towards you, but in any case, I'm sure that you would still want this to be over as quickly as possible. The current reality is that neither you nor the police are managing things well here. You are unable to calm the crowd. You have simply never handled a situation like this before.
What are you driving at, Mr. Holmes?
I can help you to handle the situation if you're truly interested in solving things quickly and quietly.
And how exactly would you manage that?
Simply tell the police that I'm with City Hall and I'm permitted to investigate the scene. I'll work out the rest, but in return, I need your help finding my witness. She's a young refugee. She's with child or was with child recently.
Look, there is indeed a dead body inside the camp. So even if the girl you are looking for is there, all the refugees are now being detained and interrogated by the police. They won't allow you to speak with her, and I can't do anything about that until the situation settles down.
So it's in our mutual interest to settle it.
Oh. I suppose that things are bad enough that I ought not shy away from help. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell the police to allow you to come inside. Just tell me when you're ready.
이거 흰색은 그치. 흰색은 그냥 얘기 듣는 거고 노란색이 뭔가 진행되는 거라 그랬는데.
Mr. Harlow, what exactly do you do here? What are your responsibilities?
안 된가?
What I do and what I am responsible for are two different realities, Mr. Holmes. On paper, I am in charge of the camp territory, security, provision, and the refugees in general. What I actually do most of the time is knock on every City Hall door trying to obtain some funding, or at least rations for the camp.
Are the police here on City Hall's behalf too?
They are, minus those who came here after the body was found. The governor won't let the refugees disperse into the island, so there's a significant police presence guarding the camp. Naturally, they answer directly to the police. I have some influence here, but I'm not their direct authority.
Mr. Harlow, how did the refugees end up here exactly?
Oh, so you're not from around here yourself?
I've been away for some time, but I read the papers.
Yes, this whole story has been in the papers for almost a year now. They were smuggled to Cordona on a ship from Africa.
Smuggled? Then why didn't you deport them?
The smugglers managed to sneak them to shore and hide them inside an abandoned warehouse. When the police raided the warehouse and found the refugees there, the ship was already gone. We aren't even certain as to which ship it was. We have busy shipping routes with other colonies these days, you see.
So you decided to lock them up under a bridge?
There was no other option. We're still trying to work out what to do with them. I only hope we'll find a humane solution and not put them on a raft and float them out to sea.
I'm ready to take a look at the scene.
All right. Go inside the camp and find Inspector Tewkesbury. He's the officer investigating the scene. Tell him I sent you. Say you're an independent expert from City Hall. He'll fill in the details for you.
I'll find my way with words. Thank you, Mr. Harlow.
Beasts!
So they keep these refugees under a bridge like proverbial trolls. No wonder the people outside are so disturbed.
Who the hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall. You're Inspector Tewkesbury, I presume?
A surveyor? What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a mass of refugees attacking a man. Clearly not a refugee. When the camp guards came by, the man was floating in the sewage canal with a knife in his chest. Bam. A murder. Big news for Cordona.
I'm sure. Thank you, Inspector. Did you learn anything about the dead man?
The fellow looks like a thug. I've had dozens like him fished out of the sea over the past 20 years. Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been people on Cordona with bad blood in them. My best bet is that this thug had something against them too.
검살이나 난민이나 뭐 얼마나 더 나은 처지라고 그걸 미워하고 있냐.
Who he was or where he was from.
I think I should catalogue his possessions in my records.
Go on. They're on the table near the body.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming. Better bury him and forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees. At least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking how to protect their public image. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near their kitchen. He's in a bad way.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the bridge. Was she harmed?
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her. She started wailing and the refugees stood up for the girl.
And where is this young woman now?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's been questioned by my men, but she's just some refugee girl. Can't understand much English.
그렇군요.
Here we go again. Number of hours on Cordona before stumbling upon another dead body? 0.
뭐 굳이 노동자의 옷을 입고 있을 필요가 있을까?
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here. A steel dirk, sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers. I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however the wound is too messy to be certain. An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something? Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping John. A violent death.
이 녀석이 그 침입자구만.
Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John. Could you help me?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Our dead fella truly has had a day of misfortune.
그 여자 만나러 가야 그 뭐야? 아, 이 사람이 그 피해자? 얘도 그 칼 맞았다는?
The cut is deep, potentially
이런.
serious if not treated immediately. He is in shock, feverish and dehydrated.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
캠프에서 뭘 찾을 수 있는지 보자. 상처를 닦고 소독하고 붕대를 쓸 거.
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment. The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike. No hint of blood or impact. It might have been used as an improvised weapon. That will kill, not save him. Someone was dragged against their will. It won't do any good. I'll use it to create a solution.
증거물이 곳곳에 있네.
Malpal, soaked with salt water. £1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona. A simple leather sheath. Perfect for a dirk.
조사할 게 굉장히 많네.
Someone bled profusely here. A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently. A furrow in the ground. A blood trail leading to or from the canal. Clearly a left handprint here. Just washed. Better than nothing to bandage the wound.
알로에.
I can use this to stop the infection from spreading.
재료 다 모은 거 아닌가 이제? 아닌가? 얘는 쓸모가
Nausea and
없지.
stomach pain is not what he needs now.
아, 눌러서. 오케이. 아, 천조각도 내가 아까 뜯었나? 물은.
I've plated all the ingredients
Okay.
now to prepare the first aid solution.
일단 마이너스 4가 되려면은 이렇게 두 개를 쓰는 게 하나가 있겠고, 얘 같지는 않은데 딱히. 일단 요거 두 개 더하면 아.
Thank you.
This should make you feel better, my friend. Now remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
그래요. 푹 쉬세요. 조사를 몇 번까지 했지? 7, 6, 5 8번? 맞나?
Police boots. Always happy to trample a heavy boot with a worn-out sole.
한 명은 맨발?
A man's footprint. You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
그러게.
No, it's too short for these walls or cliffs.
If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell.
경관들은 시체가 발견된 것 때문에 캠프에 봉쇄 조치가 내려져 계획이 차질이 생기고 현금 수금에 문제가 생길까 걱정하고 있다.
Nobody will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we should sniff around in the camp a little more thoroughly.
Sealed shut. I doubt our man could get through these grates.
Sherry, just look at this. Living quarters in a sewer. What kind of a genius bureaucrat came up with this idea?
편해 보이네.
We have seen some dark places in Cordona, but this...
캠프 나가기 전에 다 해결을 조사 다 마치고 나가야 된다는 거네.
It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police guards.
The refugees have been detained and will not leave until all the circumstances are clarified.
알았어, 임마. 조사 안 한 데가 있을까? 얘네한테 물어봐봤자 뭐 나오긴 뭐.
Such a mess. Let's figure it out.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Are these the rations the refugees get from the authorities? How do people even survive out here?
어떻게 숨어 들어온 거지? 어허.
We have seen some dark places in Cordona, but this...
캠프에서 수소문에서 알아보자고? 경관들한테 다 물어봐야 되나?
Back off. Back off.
아치락이네 쥐.
No one deserves to end up in a place like this.
Can I ask you a question?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
You obviously haven't thought this all through. Or are you just annoying these people on purpose?
너네 이거 무슨 얘기야?
May I ask for your assistance?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
You still here?
이 사람한테 물어봐야 되는 거.
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads. I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall lubberheads.
Who isn't allowed to visit the crime scene these days?
일단 저장을 해놓고. 사람들한테 물어볼까? 아닌데. 실제 사람이 있는 게 아니고 뭔가 담배꽁 줘.
A single Malpal butt. Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration. The good old police just let the man into the camp. Now we have everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp.
어디 보자. 아우, 뭐 할 게 많아. 또 안쪽부터. 당연히 좋게 끌고 왔을 리가 없죠. 안 가려는 걸 억지로 끌고 나왔고. 여기서 바로? 그치, 이게 맞지. 저 사람은 칼에 찔렸었잖아. 끌고 가는 거 막으려고 하고 얘가 칼을 들고 있었어야 맞을 것 같은데. 뭔 차이야? 아, 얘를 이거는 지금 지키는 동작이고. 아이씨, 장난 아니야. 지금 끌고 가려고 하는데 그 와중에 이거 두 개인 거지? 오케이, 오케이. 그러다가 칼에 찔렸고. 그러다가 얘는 손을 놓쳤고. 여기서 몸싸움을 하다가 왼손으로 여기를 짚으려면 이 자세가 맞기는 해.
You're not even trying,
아니네.
Sherry. Concentrate.
이건가?
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
알았어. 아, 여기서 싸워야 되는구나. 그치.
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
여기가 틀렸나?
So, we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates. He stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
상류층한테 그렇게 난민 여자를 바치는 거를 경찰한테 뒷돈 찔러주면서 되는구나. 이렇게 하는 거네.
You still here?
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation. I know who the dead man is and what really happened here.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share your findings with. Speak to Mr. Harlow here. He's the one responsible for settling things in the camp.
You don't even care to listen?
Oh, I do care. Maybe even more than I need to. But I'm only here today to lock the place up, question witnesses, and file the facts. It's sad, but coming up with conclusions is not among my tasks here. You fellows at City Hall do that. Anyway, speak to the supervisor. I'll just stand by and listen to what you have to say.
Mr. Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've learned.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. What he didn't expect was that the refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say. The refugees didn't touch him. And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining the refugees any longer. You can go back in and look for your witness.
You think one small clock can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble. Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry. We don't see much here.
Is this familiar to you?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
Time to check your who, what and what, Sherry. Who are you asking? About what and dressed as what?
얘네한테 물어보는 건
You're
아니지 않나?
disturbing a hornet's nest here, son.
I owe you.
옷을 좀 추레하게 입어야 되나?
Lots, Mr. Holmes.
Could you help me?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
Help me, please.
Sorry. We don't see much here.
You obviously haven't thought this all through. Or are you just annoying these people on purpose?
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds. I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us without a reason. You're here because you want something.
Yes, I do. I need to speak with the girl drawn here.
The dead man came for her too. He wanted to take the girl away, but we won't allow her to be hurt again. What do you want from Nayla?
Nayla. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Nayla's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Nayla, if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
Hello, Nayla? My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Nayla, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's help.
뭐 얼마나
glad that
되게
wasn't me.
이렇게
Not my
상냥하게
best
해야
work, John,
되는
by a
거지.
long shot.
모르겠다.
Naylor
일단은
doesn't want us meddling.
알려줬으니까
I'm starting to
내준
wonder
거나
what this all achieves.
이용하자고.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
이건 시청에 가서 찾으면 되겠고.
Someone was dragged against their will.
At least some of your kind have a hat. Thank you again.
이거에 대해서는 물어볼 수 없나?
Excuse me, just one question.
They often take us from the camps to work. Most don't mind, though. It's the only way we get a glimpse of freedom.
수상한 사람들이 정기적으로 캠프에 방문하고 난민들을 데려가 다양한 일을 시킨다고 한다. 그 여자애도 그런 식으로 일을 시키려 데려갔다가 폭행을 당했다. 그 후 난민들은 그들이 여성을 데려가지 못하게 하기로 했다.
So there's a smuggling ring in the
난민들끼리는
camp.
굉장히 사이가
This
좋고 똘똘
wasn't the
뭉쳐
first
있는
time that
거네.
someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
이거에
I
대해서는
owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
You still here?
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his neck, 2 lines and a point. Do you know anything about it?
You really want to know, kid? Why? You want to play a policeman or something?
I'm sure you have it in your records, so it won't hurt if I have it in mine.
In my records, it's just a tattoo, as it should be in yours. Ah, to hell with you. Suit yourself as to what you're going to do with it. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected to a man named Mr. Niccolo Bernadotti.
Bernadotti, you say?
A respectable businessman in Scalario. His company imports goods and wines, and smuggles everything that can be smuggled between the colonies and the mainland. His people can be identified by an obscure tattoo, just like the one over there our friend has. But these are all merely rumors, you see. If Mr. Bernadotti was a criminal, he'd be in prison now. Or hanged, right?
여기는 이제 증거 다 수집 끝났군. 그렇다면 일단은 시청을 가야 되겠네. 그러면 그럼 뭐지? 아, 바로 근처구나. 그래도 타고 갑시다. 팔라디오. 쌩. 니콜로 버나두티가 설립한 버나두티 유한회사. 본사가 스칼라디오의 바자가 교차로 근처 로만가. 버나두티 유한회사는 제품을 운송한다. 원래 이탈리아 시칠리아에서 태어났는데 런던으로 거주지를 옮기고 코르도나로 옮겼다. 예술계 후원가 및 사회복지 투자가로 발돋움했다. 가장 최근에는 경찰서를 위해 새 장비를 구매하고 미드 제플린, 이거 비행선을 몇 개 봤어. 어허. 이제 공무원. 토마스 노튼. 코르도나의 영국 특사로 임명되어 시청에 사무실이 마련되었다. 이 새끼.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I can't assist you with that.
사람이라면 알고 있어야 되지 않을까?
I'm curious, how did Mycroft recruit you? I doubt you're a field agent. I imagine you work with intelligence.
That's correct. Your brother noticed me when I tracked down a spy at the archives. That's how our cooperation began. And you? Did Mycroft force you into this?
Not at all. We simply have a mutual interest in someone. Or something.
Of course. A fruitful and willing collaboration, I'm sure.
Well, I'm his younger brother. I have to accept the consequences of being a close relative of an official figure.
I suppose in a way we are colleagues, Mr. Holmes.
In the remotest way possible, Miss Oni.
Have you found anything helpful?
이건 뭐고?
Do you know anything about this?
I wish I could help you.
May I ask you something?
The law can't help you with that.
Time to check your who, what, and what, Sherry. Who are you asking? About what and dressed as what?
누구한테 이걸 물어봐야 될까?
Have you found anything helpful?
일단 이거부터 가고 버나도티한테 물어봐야 될 수도 있지. 그치? 어디 있다고 했지? 스칼라디오 바자가 교차로 근처 로만가. 여기? 기분 좋은데.
Don't miss out on my unique clothes. Let's pick something that suits you.
멋있는 옷 좀 있나? 없는데.
Be careful with what you've taken.
가자가 근처 로만가라 그래서 조금 더 내려가 있나? 이 근처 같은데. 여긴 호텔이고.
May I ask for your assistance?
I will not answer your salty questions.
너무하네.
Can I ask you a question?
I cannot be of help, sir.
아이씨,
Someone else might know
모르면서
better.
왜 깝쳤어.
This isn't working.
짜증나게.
You might need a different tack.
Do you know anything about this?
No, sir. I don't know anything about that.
아, 누구한테 물어봐야 되지?
Can I ask you a question?
No, sir. I don't know anything about that.
아자가가 이렇게 쭉 이어지네. 이렇게. 아, 엄청 길구나. 이렇게 쭉 이어지는 거였어? 아하, 몰랐네. 이렇게. 아무튼 근데 동남 스칼라디오 요쪽에 교차로 근처에 로만 가라 그랬는데 여기를 다 뒤져봐야 되나? 이렇게는 또 디스레일리 어쩌고인 것 같고. 같고. 약국이 뭐가 이렇게 많아? 파머시가 엄청 많은데?
Is this familiar to you?
I'd tell you if I knew, but unfortunately, I don't.
Nice to see you. Let's go into
여기는 어디지? 여긴 호텔 같고. 아이고, 이걸 찾아야 되는데.
May I ask you something?
A man like you should not speak to a man like me.
아, 참.
Could you help me?
Mr. Fancy Clothes won't find any answers here.
아우, 짜증나게 진짜. 여기 아니고.
Nice effort. Let's pick something that suits you.
거의 색깔만 다르잖아. 아, 패턴도 조금은 다르네. 아, 이거랑 이거랑 이거 사야지.
A good choice. A good choice indeed.
그래서 이거 알아
Is this
몰라.
familiar to you?
Sounds familiar, but no.
어이가 없네, 진짜.
Ask someone else.
이거 어디 있지? 어디 있는 거야? 이 근처 같은데. 어? 여기는 저번에 댕댕이 찾으러 왔던 데인데.
Are you able to help me?
Sorry, friend, I'm not familiar with that.
맞아, 동전 힌트 찾고서 댕댕이 찾는다고 막.
Excuse me, just one question.
Mate, I like you, but you should ask someone else.
Oh, I am bored. Call me when you find the answer.
The best antiques in the district. My goods will brighten up your house.
오, 뭐가 새로 생겼다. 와. 오, 침대.
Enjoy your purchase.
예. 아이고, 이거 어디야?
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, friend, I'm not familiar with that.
Do you know anything about this?
That's a good question, friend. But like all good questions, I don't have an answer.
여기인가? 응, 아니고. 잠깐만, 로만과 교차로 근처에 바자가에 있다는 거네? 아니, 그럼 결국은 이 근처에 있다는 거잖아. 맞나? 아, 버나도티 이렇게 크게 써져 있구만. 버나도티 리미티드.
It seems they're not expecting guests.
I won't wait for an invitation, John.
로만가 근처에 바자가에 있는 거였고요. 한참 애매네. 다른 출입구를 찾아야 한다. 자, 뒷문 가봅시다. 얘는 옆문이고요. 이건 뭐 창고?
So what's the infiltration plan, Sherry? I'd go in through the rooftop if we had a harpoon gun.
좀 깔끔하게 입어야 될까? 약간 사업가처럼.
May I ask for your assistance?
I'm sorry, but I've never heard of that.
약간 일꾼들한테 좀 어필을 해야 될 것 같은데.
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
These workers don't look like your average Cordona folk.
They're refugees from the camp.
That's our way in, Sherry.
Hey, yo. This is private property. You lost something.
Good day, sir. I've been sent by City Hall to see Mr. Bernadotte about...
Mr. Bernadotte isn't seeing anyone. You have 3 seconds to walk away or you'll never walk again. Capito?
It's in Mr. Bernadotte's best interest to...
1.
Well, this has been miserable.
Sherlock, think. We know what the fellows from the gang look like. You can easily blend in.
아, 이 사람도 저 문신이 있네? 짝대기 기수가 뭔가 끝발인가 본데. 약간 깡패처럼 입고 다니긴 하네. 아닌가? 이거 그 보헤미안 옷이잖아. 이거는 그 깡패 옷이고. 그럼 일단 그 의복집 찾아가서 어디 근처에더라?
Don't pop. Let's pick something that suits you.
와, 얘는 왜 이렇게 비싸? 일단 요건 대여하고. 아닌데. 아,
Be careful with what you've taken.
문신을 대여를 지금 한 거지? 했다.
Don't pass by. Welcome.
하이샘. 일단 저장 좀 해놓고.
Hey, stop. Who are you? Haven't seen you before.
Didn't see you either, mate. I'm John. Just shipped in from London. Cheap bastards had me sharing a bunk with two others.
Aye, that sounds like Bernadotte. Why are you here?
A problem at the refugee camp. I need to report to Mr. Bernadotte. The sooner the better.
I knew it was only a matter of time until those savages stirred up trouble. Go on, get inside.
You did it, Sherry. A full immersion into the criminal underworld.
얘네한테 뭐 굳이 뭐 물어볼 필요 있을까? 그냥 들어가면 되겠지 뭐. 이쪽이 아니야? 어디야? 물어봐야 되나?
Can I ask you a question?
Nah, fella. I got no idea about this.
아니 어디로 들어가냐고요? 여긴가? 아닌데?
Do you know anything about this?
Nah, never come across anything like this.
아니 어디로 들어가야 돼? 너뭐 아는 거 없어?
That was one hell of a risk, but a lot of fun.
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
아니 어디로 가야 되냐고요.
The Silverhand treasure, mate. Loads of pirate gold buried somewhere around, just
What
waiting
doesn't
to be found. It's all right, there's no treasure. But maybe there is. I just need to crack the bloody riddle.
이거 부수수기 하나 나 이거 받아놨는데 은손 모시기. 일단 알겠어.
Sherry, look!
나
This seems familiar.
An amazing piece of culture. I imagine many collectors and museums would be interested in having it. A Dogon statue from West Africa. A century old at least. Masks, traditional for the Chokwe people of Central Africa. VH Grindley Flow Blue tableware. This is what lies behind the facade of Bernadotte Company Limited. Let's see what's hidden there.
이 그림. 어디를 조사해야 되나? 또 다른 여자 같은데.
Vogel's stolen painting. Isn't it curious how it developed into a much more interesting case?
이게 그림이라고? 그럼 집에 있던 거는 뭐야? 집에 있던 거는 그게 사진이야? 그거는 사진이고 그걸 그림으로 그려놓은 게 이거야? 나 이해가 잘 안 됐네.
Hello, friend. Tough day, eh?
This is it. This is where all the magic happens.
Excuse me, Mr. Bernadotte is busy right now. Sir, you're obstructing the light. Could you step back?
I don't know who you are, but someone will be punished for letting you in. But First, let's talk. Whenever you're ready. I'd hate to intrude.
그러네.
Bad news. The thug you sent to the refugee camp only succeeded in stabbing himself. His next and final journey will be to the morgue.
Hold your horses. Who the hell are you?
Sherlock Holmes. And you are Niccolo Bernadotti, a smuggler, kidnapper, and notorious cutthroat, among other
아니
things.
근데 부하들이 이렇게
You men
근처에
would
잔뜩
waltz
있는 데서
into my
이렇게
office
공격을
and
한다고?
address me like that. You are
그러게.
either overconfident or unintelligent. This is private property. Give me one reason why I should not shoot you on the spot. I am sure my friends at the station would call it self-defense.
As I said, your man was found dead in the refugee camp. He was there to kidnap a woman, but the other refugees intervened to try and save her. The ensuing scuffle resulted in the man's accidental suicide. He sported the same tattoo as your men in this building. In fact, it also bears a resemblance to the one on your neck. Care to explain what business your man had with this woman?
You have no idea what you are talking about. I can assure you this was no kidnapping. The refugees in the camp are on edge. What happened there is a tragic accident, one I am not responsible for.
For what reason was your man there if not to abduct her?
Why would I answer? You are yet to justify your presence in the
맞는 말만
slightest.
하시네.
Mr. Bernadotti, do you know the name Boniface Mercurio?
I do not.
Mercurio was a local artist. Recently, a man broke into his apartment, ransacked the place, and killed him. The thief was looking for something.
You are testing my patience, boy.
In a moment, the connection will reveal itself. I was hired, privately, to investigate the recent theft of a painting from an art gallery. My investigation led me to a man from your organization, and thus, to you, Mr. Bernadotti.
That is quite a stretch. Why would I need to steal a painting when I could buy anyone I wanted?
Interestingly enough, I spotted the stolen painting in your storeroom.
I buy and sell a lot of things, Mr. Holmes. Unfortunately, if this is true, it is not the first time I have been sold stolen merchandise. I presume you were hired by the owner of the gallery. Tell them to contact me, and we'll sort out the situation. So, this painting is why you broke into my office. So many words, so little action. When you barged into my office, Mr. Holmes, I got the impression you wanted to talk business. Now I see you had come just to talk. Tell me exactly what you want, or get out.
It was necessary groundwork for what comes next. I have enough evidence to conclude that the gallery thief, the artist's killer, and the dead man in the camp are all the same person.
Your time is almost up, Mr. Holmes.
Before you draw your gun, there is one final detail I am yet to mention. The young woman your man was tasked to collect from the refugee camp had been defiled at a perverse masquerade party. That violation was captured in a photograph by Boniface Mercurio and used as a reference for his painting. The photo shows the attacker's face.
Finally. That's why you're here, Mr. Holmes. You have the photograph.
It is what your man was after when he broke into Mercurio's apartment, and it is what you're after too, isn't it, Mr. Bernadotte?
You have the photograph with you. How much do you want for it?
I am not naive enough to carry it with me, but I am yet to decide what I shall do with it. I know the man in the photo is a British envoy. What interest do you have in his downfall?
I must admit, I am rather impressed by how comprehensively you have pursued this matter. And so, you deserve the honest answer. My business dealings are often arduous in their bureaucracy. A man in his position, willing to look the other way, could ease my work significantly. In return, I will make sure no one looks his way either. A favor for a favor.
Also known as blackmail, the modus operandi of any true professional.
It was not originally my idea. Mercurio set things in motion, extorting the envoy for the most trivial of ends. Money. In response, the envoy hired my man to retrieve the painting and the photograph, eliminating Mercurio's leverage. I only learned the whole story after the artist was killed in his home.
And rather than extricate yourself, instead you took over Mercurio's venture.
It fell into my lap. As a businessman, I simply seized the opportunity. Now, how much do you want for the image?
Why did you send your man to remove the woman from the camp?
Without a photograph, her testimony was the next best thing. Securing her was in everyone's interest. Victims and witnesses all too often disappear. I thought the girl was safer with us. I did not anticipate what would happen at the camp.
I saw refugees from the camp at your warehouse. They work for you.
I have made certain arrangements with City Hall and the police. Thanks to me, refugees can work and be paid. It's a pathway to freedom.
And how much do you save by capitalizing on their cheap labor?
I have heard no complaints. They seem happy just to get out of that slum.
I could not help but appreciate the collection of smuggled artifacts in your storeroom. You have rather diversified your business.
Oh, high and mighty of you, Mr. Holmes. Not all smuggling is immoral. I pay generous rates to developing cultures and spread their culture to eager buyers. And furthermore, I supply many immigrants with a taste of home.
A very convenient way of thinking.
I have traveled wildly, Mr. Holmes. I've seen people in far-flung lands for whom my services are a lifeline. Without them, they would starve. The tax on cargo is often so absurd that it would be more profitable to simply sink your ship than dock it in the harbor. And trust me, I am speaking from experience.
Why should I give you the photograph?
Just name your price.
What if my price were not money? You claim to have connections, Mr. Bernadotte. Perhaps you could improve conditions for the refugees. Give them a chance for a better life.
Ha! I do have connections, Mr. Holmes, but help the whole camp? You are asking too much. I could, however, make arrangements for one person. The woman who was violated will have her own home outside the camp, solely for her and her child. She will no longer be a refugee, but a princess. That I can guarantee.
Is that really possible?
It will be neither fast nor easy, but I can do it. She deserves it, don't you agree? And as for her abuser, he will serve me, as much as he deserves.
So in your plan, everybody will be given their due. Especially you, Mr. Bernadotte.
Seems like a fair deal, no? I doubt anyone could offer you better. Simply give me the photograph, and the world becomes a better place. I give you my word.
What makes you think you can decide what's best for these people?
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism. I take your point.
뭐 하긴 뭐. 이게
I need.
I opened the front door for you. Please, sir, do not linger.
여기 말고. 화랑도 갔다 와봐야겠지요. 이더라.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
Not yet, Mr. Vogel.
어느 놈한테 뭘 줄지를 결정을 내가 해야 되는 거네.
I've brought news, but not all of it will please you.
Fill me in, Mr. Holmes. I won't shoot the messenger.
I tracked down Boniface Mercurio.
I presume he wasn't delighted about the situation.
He was not having a good day on account of his murder. Killed in his own flat by the same person that stole his painting.
Oh, sweet Mercurio. Perishing in the pursuit of his art. How apt. I will miss his exceptional sense of humor.
I located the thief, but found him rather cold. He was tight-lipped about the painting, too.
Huh, he's dead. How very droll, Mr. Holmes. Warren presumes you were not responsible.
It was an accident at the refugee camp. He impaled himself on his own knife.
Life is nothing if not cruel and capricious. What about the stolen painting? Have you located it?
I found the painting, but I could not retrieve it.
Well then, where is it?
In Bernadotti's office.
Bernadotti? That shady businessman? Why would he steal it from me?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask him yourself.
I take it you found something more then.
I found the source of Mercurio's artistic inspiration. A photograph. What troubled me was that the sexual act captured was non-consensual.
She was violated? Dear God, how despicable.
Her abuser was in fact the British envoy. Mercurio took a picture of him committing the atrocity and then used it as artistic inspiration.
I had no idea a mere break-in would eventually expose such barbarity.
Mr. Vogel, I want you to make everything public, including the photograph. I'm sure you have a connection at the Cordona Chronicle.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Loyal to your own truth till the end. Yes, I'm acquainted with the staff of the Chronicle. The story is sensational, and will surely draw attention to the gallery. But you must be aware that exposing the scandal will further hurt the victim. Does that not bother you?
No matter what one does, the truth tends to come out, as well it should. I won't be the one to stand in its way.
Though it's only your subjective truth being exposed. Not that I'm judging. It's perfectly reasonable for everyone to have their own views.
When you called me, you knew exactly what you would get.
Oh, but I'm not like you, Mr. Holmes. I cannot be sure of anything. Regardless, I must thank you, for art's sake. Well, now that we've resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift for you. I took the liberty of having it delivered to Stonewood Manor. I am told it belonged to your mother.
이게 사건 끝인가?
And what exactly have you sent me?
Frankly, I'm not sure how to answer that. I trust you'll know.
Previously, you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's passing than consumption. It appears you were right.
Oh dear. I'd hoped to be wrong.
She was unstable, mentally unwell. She required sustained, specialized treatment, but her madness persisted.
I knew that Violet had disappeared from the public eye, but had no idea of her suffering. I cannot imagine what you're feeling.
I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. I am curious to see what you have procured.
이렇게 끝나면 안 되는데, 아닌가? 뭔가 못 찾은 단서가 있는데.
Mr.
Not yet, Mr.
아, 이거에 대해서 누구한테 물어봐야 되지? 일단 그럼 오늘은 여기까지 하는 걸로.